Be ready. 15 seconds.
All wages or salary, including wages payable for time or piece work and salary earned wholly or in part by way of commission of any workman in respect of services rendered to the company, and any compensation payable to any workman under any of the provisions of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947. 2. All accrued holiday remuneration becoming payable to any workman, or in the case of his death, to any other person in his right on the termination of his employment before or by the effect of the winding up order or resolution. 3. Unless the company is being wound up voluntarily merely for the purpose of reconstruction or of amalgamation with another company, or unless the company has at the commencement of the winding up under such a contract with insurers as is mentioned in section 14 of the Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, rights capable of being transferred to and vested in the workman, all amounts due to in respect of any compensation or liability for compensation under the said act in respect of the death or disablement of any workman of the company. 4. All sums due to any workman from a provident fund, in pension fund, a gratuity fund, or any other fund for the welfare of the workmen maintained by the company. 5. Workman's portion in relation to the security of any secured creditor of a company means the amount which bears to the value of the security the same proportion as the amount of the workman's dues bears to the aggregate of A. The amount of workman's dues, and B. The amount of the debts due to the secured creditors. As per Section 447 of the Companies Act, an order for winding up of a company operates in favor of all the creditors as if it had been made on a joint petition of a creditor. All creditors are treated as petitioning creditors. Section 456 of the Companies Act requires a provisional liquidator or a liquidator, as the case may be, to take all properties and action claims to which the company is or appears to be entitled into his custody or under his control. Subsection 1A to Section 456 of the Companies Act entitles the liquidator to write a request to the Chief Presidency Magistrate within whose jurisdiction such property effects or actionable claims are. Subsection 1B to Section 456 of the Companies Act permits the Chief Presidency Magistrate or the District Magistrate to take such steps or use such force as in his opinion may be necessary. Section 468 of the Companies Act permits the tribunal court to direct any contributory trustee, receiver, banker, agent, officer, or other employee of the company to pay, deliver, surrender, or transfer forthwith or within such time as directed to the liquidator any money, property, or books and papers in his custody and control to which the company is prima facie entitled. Section 528 to 530 of the Companies Act fall under Chapter 5, provisions applicable to every mode of winding up under the subheading Proof and Ranking of Claims. Section 528 of the Companies Act states that debts of all descriptions, including the debts payable on contingency and claims against the company present or future ascertained or sounding only in damages shall be admissible to proof against the company on a just estimate being made of such debts as far as possible. Section 456 of the Companies Act inter alia provides that all the property and effects of the company shall be deemed to be in the custody of the tribunal/court as from the date of the order for the winding up of the company. The objective of giving jurisdiction to the company court/tribunal during the process of liquidation of the company is twofold. First, to ensure that the assets of a company in liquidation are amassed and possessed to prevent a scramble and dissipation of the assets of an insolvent company. Secondly, the company court/tribunal is entrusted with paying off debts from the sale proceeds of the assets so assimilated, according to the waterfall mechanism provided for and specified under sections 529, 529A and 530 of the Companies Act. Accordingly, and with his objective, section 529A of the Companies Act refers to the doctrine of pari passu in the proviso to subsection 1 to section 529 with reference to the claims inter se the workmen and the secured creditors. Even otherwise, on a conspectus of these sections, the principle applicable and underlying these provisions is to stop alienation and preserve the assets on the date of the bankruptcy, which date in some cases can relate back to the date of filing of the winding up petition, as in case of execution of a decree. This preservation is with a view to ensure the division and application of the assets of the company.